Hello. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Rob. Can you hear me? We'll start with that, as I always do. It looks like you can hear me, but I'm no expert. You let me know. Steve from the UK says yes. Awesome. And yes, my on-screen chat display is working. That's great. Welcome to the live stream. My name is Rob Moore, aka Rob the Maritimer. And if you're new here, welcome aboard. If you are returning, then welcome back. And thanks for stopping in. Let me start by putting today's schedule on the screen so you can see it. Where's everybody watching from? Let me see. Let's just get into the chat right away. Jules was the first one to message today. He says, hello, sir. Glad to be here with you. Welcome, Jules. Thanks for stopping in. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you get some good information out of it. I believe you were here last week, too, so welcome back. Digital Learn Academy. Hello, sorry I am late. You're only late because you weren't first, I guess, but you're certainly not late. I'm just getting going. Welcome. Thanks for stopping in. Steve says, hello, Rob. Hello, Steve from the UK. Steve's in the UK. Where is everybody else watching from? I'm in Canada, East Coast Canada. It is 2 o'clock in the afternoon here. 1 o'clock Eastern is the way I put it, the way I advertise it, because there's a lot more people in the Eastern time zone than our little Atlantic Canadian time zone. I think there's only there's only three provinces here in Canada that use this time zone. No place in the US uses this time zone, and I think there's some places down in South America that do. But I don't believe I've had somebody from South America in the live stream yet, so maybe in the future. Bent Michelson, hello. Welcome, Bent. Thanks for stopping in again. Good to see you back from Europe, I believe. Norway, if I recall correctly. Pamela Powers, welcome, Pamela. Says yes, so you can hear me too. That's awesome. I don't think my levels are too high. I should actually let me just click that on. No, I am not clipping. That's a good thing. So I don't need to be recording this though. So I will stop that. Yes, we can hear you. That's awesome. Stavanger, Norway. Stavanger or Stavanger? I think it's Jur. Stavanger, Norway. I've never been. I'd like to go some. I've never been to any of the Scandinavian countries, actually. I'd like to someday. Digital Learn Academy, Ontario, California. That's right, not Ontario, Canada. And Steve is from England in the UK. Welcome. Jules is from Montreal, Canada. Welcome. So not that far away from me here. Well, it's quite a ways, but it's about a 12-hour drive to Montreal from here. Let's see. Hello, Renee Rosendahl from DK, I believe that's Denmark. That's correct. Welcome back. Thanks for stopping in. Ben says the latter pronunciation is correct. Now I forget what I said. Latter. What was it again? Stavanger. Awesome. Great. Anyways, thanks everyone for stopping in. What have we got going on today? So, this is my weekly live stream. So every Tuesday, same time, I'll be here at 1 o'clock Eastern for at least an hour, usually around 2 hours. And I think it's going to be about 2 hours today. The way I'm kind of dividing it up is the first hour we'll do what I normally do. We'll do some Q&A, usually some Q&A off the start at the beginning, and then I'll get into the topics that I've listed on the screen. At any time, if you have any questions about anything I say, or if you want to challenge me on anything, feel free to do that. I'm not always right. Actually, I was proven wrong. I wouldn't say proven just yet, but one of my videos this week, I've had a few people tell me, no, I don't think you should do it that way. You should do it this way. So I'm not always right. I've got my own way of doing things, and sometimes there's an easier way. That's part of having been a long-time Camtasia user. Sometimes I get so used to doing things a certain way that I forget, or not forget, but I just don't know that, there's an easier way to do something. So that's part of what this is all about too. I'm going through everything in Camtasia, trying to learn the best ways to do things. So we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. Videos since I last went live. So I was live last Tuesday, and I've released 3 videos once again since then. So Wednesday, I came out with the pro level picture-in-picture animations video. That video seems to be doing well. That was kind of fun too, actually. Basically showing how to animate from full screen, your face full screen, animate down into a circle mask or a picture-in-picture. So I showed a couple different ways to do that. Let me see here. Steve says, your region blur video was enlightening. Thank you. Awesome. You're welcome. That one was yesterday. I came up with that one yesterday, and I'm going to get into that a little bit more today because I've had some questions on that video as well. There's a couple things that I didn't show that you, for example, blurring 2 regions at once is not that easy or not obvious how you can do that, but there is a way to do it. There's 2 ways you can do that. So I'll get into that later on today and show people how to do that. And Jules has a question. What's your best workflow to highlight text from a print screen or anything else? Quick and easy. If I wanted to highlight text, so I'm assuming this would be say you're doing a screen recording and then you have on your screen, you want to highlight text that's on the screen. There's a couple different ways you can do that. We'll go right into it. Let's just open up a new project here. You can see that. This is my, actually, let me just, what have I done here? What to put myself in this. I used to be in this screen, but now for some reason I am not. That doesn't matter. Okay, let me just show you. So if I were, let's put some text on this screen. So let's go to annotations, grab some text. Wait now, no, you want to highlight something that's on screen. Let me grab, actually, I will put this back on me until I get this set up. Let me grab a screen recording, sample project. Okay, so I'll just grab that. Okay, let me show you now. Okay, so I just threw a sample screen recording in here. This is one that I did this for a video that's coming out tomorrow. Just did this little quick screen recording. So here, so if I wanted to highlight something on this, and I believe this is a difference between PC and Mac. If I go, I'm on a Mac. I'm using Camtasia for a Mac right now, and on the Mac, if you go up here to blur and highlight option, you can grab this here, this highlight, and that's a little highlight here. Okay, so let's say that's the text we want to highlight. We can drop it right there. Okay, and if I wanted to, I may not want it there all the time. Okay, so maybe I want it to animate on there. Well, actually, then I scroll, right? That's not a great example. Here, let me do this. I will extend that frame so it stays there before it scrolls. Okay, so on this extension part, now let's highlight this. Okay, if I wanted that to animate on the highlight, I would go to animations, grab a custom animation. Okay, and then that's the finishing state, the properties. At the beginning, I would simply grab this and make it small, make it basically 0. Okay, now when I press play, that highlights it. Okay, that's how you do it on a Mac. If you're on a PC, now I might, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think that option is available on Camtasia for PC, this highlight effect. If it is, great. If it's not, then what I would do is grab a shape. Okay, here, let's just move this out of the way. I grab a square shape like this. I would use that to highlight it. Okay, just Steve from the UK says, no, it isn't on PC. Okay, that's what I thought. I switched from PC to a Mac about, well, over a year ago now. I still do go back to the PC version every once in a while on my old laptop. But this is one of the things I noticed was different. So I drag the shape over the place I want to highlight. Let's go change the color of the shape. Say it's a yellow highlighter, just as it was before. And then I would bring the opacity down like that. Okay, so now I am highlighting it like that. Okay, and same thing with the animations. You can grab a custom animation. Oh, what am I doing? Custom animation. And at the beginning, just make this smaller. And then you have this. Okay, that is how I would do it on a PC that doesn't have that blur, sorry, it doesn't have that highlight animation. And I don't know why it doesn't. I don't know why there are the differences that there are between Camtasia for Mac and Camtasia for Windows. I believe they started off as two completely separate programs, and over time they're making them as close to the same as possible. But that's actually, I wouldn't mind knowing why there are some differences. There's also some differences in the subtitling and how that works. Like the captioning system that's built into Camtasia works totally different in Camtasia for Mac. And actually, I'm having a little bit of trouble with the Mac version. I'm just not as used to it. I just got so used to the PC version. So again, I do tend to fall back on the PC version from time to time. And one of the reasons is the subtitling for certain cases that some of my clients have. So, yeah, so that, I hope that helped, Jules. That's how I would highlight text. And of course, if that text, if that screen moves, right, that highlighting, well, if you move the screen, right, if it's not a scrolling action, if you move the screen, say into 3D, or if you move it from one side to the other, if you use, you would have to probably move this highlighting effect along with it, or group them together before you add the move animation, if that makes sense. Okay, that's how I would handle that. Next, we have Life in the UK Citizenship Test. Geeta from the UK. Welcome, Geeta. Thanks for stopping in. Happy to have you here. Again, Steve said no, that wasn't on PC. So Steve says, I would use a box surrounding red to highlight some text on screen with a PC. Yep, absolutely. In fact, I do that more as well. I'll highlight a box, and I'll often use the sketch motion one so that the box is actually drawn on the screen. I like using that. But if you want to use a highlighter type of thing, like a yellow highlighter that you would use on paper, what I just showed you is how I would do that. So, okay, Jules says, great. And for the text to pop up. Okay, for the text to pop up, let's go back to the screen here. Why isn't... Sorry, just one second here. I'm going to delete that and that. Ha! There it is. There, I'm back. Okay. So I'm back here. So for the text to pop up, what I would do let me think about this. There's probably more than one. Well, there would be more than one way to do it. But you can, once you've highlighted it, let's say we want to do it at this point, you could, let me just split this like this. Copy and paste. Let's move that up here. So this is on another copy of it. I would then crop the top copy to the okay, let's turn canvas snapping off. Let's crop into this area here. You can probably guess where I'm going with this. Okay, so that's just this copy, and then this is still the full screen. So like if I, and in fact, let's keep going. When do I start scrolling? Right here is where the scroll starts. So I can take it to about that far. Let me split it again here. We're not going to need that part. And now for this part, with this highlighted, I'm going to actually group these together. Group. Okay, let's turn the cropping off. Okay, so far you can't tell any difference. You can't see any difference on the screen. Then what I would do is go up to scale. Up here to the group. Let's scale the group up like this. And let's say we want to move it, I don't know, up here. Okay, let's zoom in to this. Thanks for the question, by the way. This is not something I was planning on doing today at all. I'm just so you can see my thought process as I go through something like this. Okay, actually, let me back those two things up. What I want to do is add an animation first. Maybe shorten it. And now at the end of the animation, let's scale it up. Okay, and at the same time, while that's scaling up, and actually let's make sure easing is on, and it is, let's put another animation down to the bottom one that is the same length, because while that's scaling up, I want this one to darken. So let's bring the opacity of the bottom version down, like that. Okay, that would give you this effect. Cool? Is that kind of what you mean by having it pop off the screen? And of course you could add a border, you could add a drop shadow and all that stuff to it. If opacity, if reducing the opacity doesn't work because maybe you've got something else underneath that on another track, what you could do instead is put an intermediate track down. So what I mean by that is, let's get rid of this. Let's move this up one more. And on the track in between, so we still have this here. On the track in between, let's go to annotations and grab a square shape. Let's take it right to the corners. Canvas snapping on, please. Like this. Now with this, we want to start with opacity at 0. And we will go back to our animations. Drag. I always have to drag it a second time. Drag an animation down to the shape. Okay. And then what we're going to animate with the shape is just the opacity. So we go from 0 to however dark you want to make it. 80% say. So now that will give the same effect. Okay? And also it doesn't have to be a black shape, it could be a blue shape, right? You can change that to blue. That's not going to give the same effect that we want, but you can kind of see what you can do. Okay? All kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, that's how you could pop it out. with or without the highlighting, right? You don't necessarily have to do the highlighting. Okay. Hello, Greg. Welcome to the live stream. Hi, Rob. Sorry I joined late. I'm ready to learn from the master. Well, I hope the master is in the chat because I don't consider myself a master. I know enough to be dangerous. That's it. I'm being proven all the time that I don't know everything there is to know about Camtasia, but I like learning new things about it as I go along as well. But yeah, there was one video that I released this past week that I believe there is a better way to do what I was telling you guys to do, and I'll get into that in a bit. But I love it when people share their ways of doing things as well in the comments below my videos. Again, I don't consider myself an expert in Camtasia. I'm learning some new things as I'm making these videos. And just so you know, so I do have some news about Camtasia 2024. I can tell you right now, it's June 4th. That's the launch date. So there's no point in waiting until point number 4. It's June 4th. That's when it's going to be released. And I should know about a week in advance what the new things are going to be on it. I've been talking to the folks at TechSmith, and I'm going to be able to have basically a beta version to play around with. And they're going to tell me what the new things are. So I'm going to be able to hit the ground running on Tuesday, the 4th, which is a Tuesday. That's the day I go live anyways. And so that live stream that day is going to be all about Camtasia 2024 and all the new things that come with it. So why did I jump to that? Yeah, so what I'm doing right now, what I have done since that, I have got a trusty piece of paper here, come up with a content schedule. Got that? All right, so basically I've mapped out the 3 videos per week that I'm going to come out with that I still have to make for the next 1, 2, 3. This is week 1, 2, 3, 4. Next 4 weeks. So that's 12 more videos. And they're basically going to cover mostly things that I haven't covered yet in Camtasia 2023 that I want to cover before 2024 comes out. Because as soon as 2024 comes out, I'm going to shift focus a little bit, and then the videos from that point on are going to be about the new things for the next little while anyways, new things you can do in Camtasia 2024. I'm also going to do, I've been working on a video, it's not near ready yet, but I want to do a couple videos that take a higher level look at Camtasia. I don't know what I'm going to title them yet, but basically I want to have videos on my channel that because I think those of you who are watching my videos, the majority of the people who are watching them, perhaps would like a starter video, like how to get started with Camtasia, like a tutorial getting started. Actually, most people who are watching me here live, you're probably well into Camtasia. That probably wouldn't be of use to you. But I think I do get a lot of new people who are just getting into Camtasia finding my videos. So it would be beneficial if I had a video like that they could refer to or start with. So there's that. And also, I'm working on a script for a video that will basically explain why I think Camtasia is the best video editor for 2 different types of people. One, people just getting into video editing, and 2, people who want to get into video editing on YouTube and may not have any experience with any other video editing software, or maybe they've tried some other popular ones like Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro and they're just having trouble with it. So I want to have a video that explains why I think you could probably just leave those aside and focus just on Camtasia. And because it can do, with Camtasia, honest to God, you can do 98%. You could do 100% of what, there are successful YouTube channels out there, people with hundreds of thousands of subscribers and making full-time income on YouTube. And the edits that they do with their videos are nowhere near as complicated as you can even do with Camtasia. So you don't need all the fancy editing things that you can do with Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, DaVinci Resolve. A lot of cool things you can do with those, but it just takes so long to learn those programs. And I just find Camtasia is so much more intuitive and a lot easier to learn if you're just starting out. And it is really all you need. And the other advantage, obviously, and it might be why most of you people are here, is, and let me know in the comments if I'm off base, but I feel like a lot of Camtasia users make videos that aren't just videos, but they're presentation style videos or demonstration or software demos, training videos, things like that. Camtasia is just, I mean, I don't want to say the only one because I may be missing some here, but from what I've seen, it's the only video editing software that also has a built-in screen recorder. Okay, there's no screen recorder in Premiere Pro. There's no screen recorder in Final Cut Pro or DaVinci Resolve. They don't have it. You have to use something else if you want to record your screen. Now that may not be all that difficult. You can use OBS or Ecamm Live, or I think you can even use QuickTime on a Mac. So that's not a deal breaker, but the way Camtasia does things, the way their screen recorder works and gives you the ability to split out the cursor, for instance, just makes it so much easier. So if you're doing a presentation, you can capture your screen. If it captures your cursor, you can delete that and put in a whole new cursor with custom motions and movements, right? You can smooth out the cursor path. If you record your screen with OBS, you can't do that. It's recording your cursor burnt right into the recording, creates an MP4 file. That's it. So that's another huge advantage to Camtasia. So I don't know. I just think it's got everything you need. And I've spent some time with DaVinci Resolve in particular, getting used to using that. And I like it. But there's so much that is like animating. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of my videos, there's an animating component to a lot of them. I'll examine a certain tool in Camtasia, and then I'll say, okay, now let's use the animate tool and see what cool things we can do with it. You know how hard that is to do in like a DaVinci Resolve or Premiere Pro? So hard. You're into keyframes, and it's just nothing's automatic. You'd have to spend weeks probably creating custom templates so that you don't have to recreate it every time. And it's not that intuitive. Camtasia, you just drag and drop an arrow, you know, a couple of clicks, and I just think it's so much easier. Anyways, sorry about that. I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there. Let me just check the chat to see where we're at. Digital Learn Academy says, you will always have to do some basic tutorials for the new people and create a playlist for them. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So far, what I've been doing is all of these videos that I've been creating on Camtasia, I've just been dropping them. Like in YouTube, I have a playlist. I've only have one, I think. Camtasia Quick Tips. And they're all going in there right now. So if I do create some, or when I do create some more basic tutorials, perhaps I'll create a different playlist for those, like a getting started with Camtasia playlist. And then most of the things that I've been doing lately are a little more complicated. So, but yes, no, I think it'd be, oh, what did I do? Okay, oh, there we go. Okay, the mouse wheel changes the size of these. Would you look at that? Okay, learn something new. I keep things so simple and it works. I have 3 channels and I use Camtasia for all of them. Awesome, great, yeah. I think there are 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 videos on my channel where I did not use Camtasia. And it took me a long time to make those videos. Granted, you know, with DaVinci Resolve, I'm not as fluent. I'm not as good with it. I don't have as much experience with it as I do with Camtasia, but I found it took me a long time. So simple works. Absolutely. 3 channels. Wow, you must be busy. I love Camtasia. It has helped me make money and it has paid for itself several times over. Awesome. That's great. That is great. You can certainly, actually, that's another video of mine, video idea of mine that I wrote down. I want to create a video that explains how you can use Camtasia. I don't know how I'm going to word it, but how you can make money with Camtasia, basically. How you can create a career with Camtasia. So many different things you can do with Camtasia, and if you can use Camtasia as your main tool to do things for other people, like a freelancer through sites like Upwork and Fiverr, I mean, I spent 3 years, it's been over 4 years now, but the first 3 years or so, full-time freelancing through Fiverr, and Camtasia was the backbone. That's what I used to do most of the subtitling and captioning and video editing and stuff that I did for clients. And tutorial videos. I create tutorial videos through Fiverr, and I use Camtasia to do that. So there you go. Alessio Palmieri. Alessio. Hi, Rob. Greetings from Italy. Excuse me, maybe you are already said this. What software are you using for streaming? But above all, what camera and lens do you use to be so perfectly sharp? Thank you. I'm glad I am. The camera's doing all the heavy lifting there because it'll autofocus depending on how far away or how close I am to the camera. It autofocuses. I use Ecamm Live is the streaming software I'm using right now, and I love it. I think it's been 4 weeks now, something like that I've been using Ecamm. Before that, I used OBS. That seemed to work fine, but I really like being able to display your chat messages on screen like this. And there was no easy way to do that with OBS. There was a workaround way, but I found it difficult. And it would stop working sometimes. So, and I have used StreamYard as well. StreamYard is an online service where you basically, and it has its advantages. Like if you want to stream to multiple locations all at once, if you use StreamYard, you can do that. You still only are sending your stream up to the internet one time. It goes to StreamYard, and then they send it out to wherever you want to stream to. If you want to stream to YouTube, Facebook, wherever, a number of different places. That's the advantage of that one. But Ecamm Live is only for Mac, and it's software that you download and you put it on your computer and use that. I'm going to say it works a lot like OBS in the sense that it's software running on your computer, and then it will send the streams up to wherever you want to send them to. I might have trouble streaming to more than one place, but that's because of my internet connection speed. I have great download speed. It's like 900 megabits per second, but my upload is capped at 15. It's cable internet is what I have here. I wish fiber op would get here, but it's not run to the house, so I can't use that. But anyways, I'm only streaming to YouTube now anyways, so it's fine. And 2 streams might work anyways. I think I figured out that I need 6 megabits per second to be able to stream like this. So if I were to stream to 2 places, I would need 12, and I have 15. So I think I would like a little more buffer than that. I might freeze the odd time if I tried to do that for you guys watching. But anyway, this is working just fine for me. I love Ecamm. And just to kind of put a lid on it, I can show you how I'm doing it. That is that's my Mac, and that whole screen is Ecamm. So that's showing the screen, what I'm seeing or what you're seeing, and then all the controls down here, and all the chats are here, and I can click on a chat and it displays on the screen. So Ecamm Live is what I use for that. And the camera is a Sony a6400 APS-C or crop sensor camera. It's awesome. It has autofocus, and the lens I use is a fixed what's it called? A fixed lens. I can't zoom it in and out. It is what it is. Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4, and it's that low f1.4 number that gives me the blurry background. I mean, the more distance you have between you, so it's focusing on my face, right? The more distance between my face and whatever's in the background, the blurrier the background will be when my face is in focus. But with a wide angle lens like that, so f1.4, like it's going really wide. That's my understanding. I'm not a photography expert, but I've watched a lot of videos on this. With a wide screen like that, you get a blurrier background with not as much. So if you don't have a lot of space between you and whatever your background is, and you want that background to be blurry, then you need your f number to be low. f1.4. And it's a very popular lens. I think I have a link to it in the descriptions of my videos. But just go to Amazon and look up Sigma f1.4 16 millimeter. That's the lens that I use. Yeah, so hope that helps. And thank you for liking my crispness of the camera. Where are we? Please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Digital Learn Academy. That'd be great. Of course, only click like if you happen to like the content, and only click subscribe if you want to be recommended any of my other videos. That's kind of the way that works. But yeah, like when people like a video, like hit the thumbs up, I believe that does help YouTube's algorithm. It looks at that, how many likes do videos get, and among other things. There's so many other things, like how long do people stay, how much of a video do people watch, how often, what's the click-through rate. So depending on how many times my thumbnail is shown to how many times it's actually clicked, what's that percentage? The higher, the better. So there's all kinds of things. But definitely the like button really helps. That we know. Where are we? Alessio says Ecamm. I know. Well, a little expensive. Yeah, it's not that cheap. I think it's, I don't know, $20 a month. I think maybe, or I think that's all I'm on, the $20 plan. I'm streaming at 1080p, and I don't think people generally stream at higher resolutions than that, like 4K. I don't think you'd need quite the upload link to be able to do that. But again, they do have a free trial, which you could try, or you could try OBS. OBS works on a Mac or on PC, right? So you can, and that is free. So you could try that one. That's what a lot of people use, probably most people use OBS, because it's free. It's open source, open broadcast system, or open broadcast software, I think is what OBS stands for. But very popular, certainly among gamers who live stream. A lot of my knowledge about live streaming started a few years ago with my son, actually, who does live stream gaming and coding and things like that. So he's been a big help in me wanting to learn how to do certain things. There's differences, like I don't need 120 hertz. Like for gaming, you want 120 hertz or higher, which is a faster refresh rate of your monitor, things like that. Don't need that for what I'm doing. I'm demonstrating tutorials, software, so I don't. So there's some differences like that, but everything else, like the camera setup, the lighting, microphone, what you use for headphones, a lot of those things are interchangeable. Whether you're live streaming a game or sharing your screen or just talking to the camera like this, doesn't, like the same camera could do all of that. Digital Learn Academy, you have an awesome setup. Thank you. It's always a work in progress. I'm always moving stuff around. At some point I'll probably change things a little bit, but thank you. I'm glad you like it. Uh, I don't know what that's all about. Muscle. Yeah, great too. Sigma and Sony. Oh, great tool. Sigma and Sony, yes. Sigma and Sony. I love the Sony camera. And Elgato Camlink, I suppose. No, although I have one here. You're talking about this guy, if that's in focus. That is a Camlink. That is what you usually plug. So this you'd plug into your computer, just USB-A. And on that end, you plug in your HDMI cord. Okay? And then you would plug that into your computer, and that's how you typically set up a camera like this. I currently have mine set up through an A10 Mini instead, and that is this over here. This guy here is an A10 Mini. So it allows me to cycle through 4 different cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4. I currently only have, well, I have 2 hooked up to it. I have another one hooked up to it back there, that one on the slider, but I don't have it on today. So that's through number 2. And then at some point I had a GoPro hooked into this third one, and I had that up there. You see the bracket way up there? Just as a third angle. And then with this thing, you can actually set, you can write macros and have all the cameras switch between themselves automatically. So that's something that I have done. I'm not doing it right now. So there's always, I don't know what the perfect setup is. There probably isn't one. This Camlink, I think, would allow 4K. I think. I'm not 100% sure. Does that say? I can't even. It is. It's a Camlink 4K. So you could transfer 4K video with this, get it into your computer. This thing here, this A10 Mini Pro is what it is. Video switcher. You could live stream directly from it. I don't use it that way. It's basically plugged into the computer like a webcam would be. Okay. So, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. I quickly glanced at the chat and then I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, the A10 Mini Pro, it won't do 4K. It only does 1080p. So the videos I make, even though this camera is plugged into the A10, and that's how I'm streaming now. I'm only streaming in 1080, which is fine. I have the camera set at 4K, but since it's plugged into this thing, it's bringing it down to 1080 before it gets into the computer. But the videos I make, the ones I've been making for the last few weeks, have all been 4K. And the way I get that done is I don't actually take the feed from the camera to this ATEM to the computer into Camtasia. I don't do it that way. I have an SD card in the camera, and I will press record on the camera, and then I'll record my mic through the computer, and I'll record my screen, either with Camtasia or with OBS, and then I marry them all together in Camtasia when I'm doing my editing. So when I stop the recording on the camera, it's saved on the SD card. I then plug that into, what the hell is that? That's a dock, I guess. I've got a dock over here that allows me to run these monitors. And so I have the camera plugged into the computer via USB, and then it becomes a hard drive. I can just copy and paste. I can move the video file from the camera to my computer, and then I can bring it into Camtasia. That's kind of my workflow, when I'm making a video. Okay, so may not be the way everything's been intended, so but it's what I've been doing lately. I've done it different ways, and I guess that's the way you learn, right? You can do it different ways. One of the videos I'm going to be making soon is how to create a multi-angle video, like with multiple cameras. And I think what I'm going to do is 3 different cameras. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to make a video of me making a video with 3 camera angles and then editing it. So I'll have this angle, I'll have perhaps another angle, and I can switch between them, and then I'll have perhaps a top-down angle of whatever I'm doing. Maybe my hand's on the keyboard, or maybe I'm writing something on a whiteboard or something like that. So that's one of the videos I'm going to do. And then you just have to get, all the cameras have SD cards, or if I use my phone for one of the cameras, you can airdrop from the phone to a Mac, or you would just plug it into a PC if you want to get your video out that way. So anyways, yeah, that's a little bit about how I'm set up and how I make my videos. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask. Jules says, can you blur a video background with Camtasia? Yes. Yes, let me show you. Let me show you. I'll put your question back up on the screen here. Right, just kind of get it out of the way. Okay, so blur. So what we're doing is we are blurring a video background. So I'm going to delete this. Delete all of it. What am I left with in here? In my media, I just have that recording. So I don't want that recording. Let's grab a video of myself. Yeah, so if I didn't have, if I did not have a good lens and I wanted to artificially blur the background, that's what I'll show you. This is what I would do. So let me first grab, I just have to find, my live, again, I did a live stream trailer this morning. So let me grab that video. So it is a video of me with somewhat of a blurry background, but this is what I would do. Let's just delete that. I will make a copy of this. So Control C or Command C on a Mac, Control V. I still hit Control even though this is a Mac because I went into my Mac settings and I switched Control and Command because I am such a PC user. I have been my whole life, and I just can't wrap my head around copy paste, Control A to select all. Like there's certain things that I just do all the time. It's like another language. My fingers know where to go. And the command button is in a different, it's in an odd spot for me. So I just switched them, I mapped them. Anyways, I got a tangent there. So let's make another copy of this. Let's remove the audio from one of them. Let's pick the top one here. So silence the audio of that top one. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the background from this one. Let's actually move this up a little further. Remove the background. So we'll go into Visual Effects, Background Removal, drop it on there. And if you want to see if it works, just hide this track. Okay. There's no audio, right? Of course. Let's unhide that. Let's right click and separate video and audio. And let's move this like this. You can switch tracks just by dragging the track name. I found that out not that long ago, like within the last couple of months. But I always like to have the audio separated from the video. It's just the way I've gotten used to working. So here we go. So now I can hide this one and the audio will stay. Okay, so we've done that. Now if I want to blur this background, two ways you can do it. Blur region or blur, right? So we'll go up to Visual Effects. We're already here. Blur region, drop that on the back one. And you can just hide that for now. Drag the blur region. Now this blur region has a white tint to it, so let's just turn that tint off by doing that. You can bump up your blur like this, and now bring yourself back. There you go. Kind of looks like a bit of a halo effect. So anyways, that's one way you could do it. And then the other way, of course, let's just Control Z a couple times to back this up. Okay, so the blur region is not on that anymore. Instead, let's go grab a blur annotation. From here, And we'll stretch that across the whole timeline. And we will move it so it covers the whole screen. Right? You can adjust the blur intensity if you want. Okay, and then you can bring yourself back like that. Okay, so it's kind of a workaround. I mean, two different ways you can do it. It does leave a bit of a halo effect, and that's because I am still part of the background. Like if I remove, like this is the base layer, right? It has me and this video. I suppose I could make myself a little smaller. No, I can't really do that. I was going to say I could scale it down, but that wouldn't work. But maybe that's a cool look that you'd want to use. Try using that. Hopefully that helps. That's how I would do that. Alessio says thanks. Awesome. Hopefully you can use that. Alessio says, anyways, congratulations. You have a truly professional studio. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hopefully the quality of my videos will keep increasing because of that. Pamela says, how did you switch those two keys? My 2019 refurbished iMac had a Windows with it. Would love to switch it. I don't know what you mean by that, had a Windows with it. But I think what you're asking, how did I switch Command and Control? I have to remember. Let me see. It would be in the settings. Accessibility, maybe? Keyboard? I don't remember. I did it over a year ago, and I haven't looked back. But it's in... you could probably find it by just Googling how to switch Command and Control on a Mac. But the only reason I can do it as well is because of the keyboard that I use. It's basically both. It has my keyboard. I'll just show you. I don't know if you can tell, but see, it has Control and Command. So it's got the Windows and the Mac, right? So Control, which is now mapped as a Command key, and then Command here. So this keyboard, the Logitech MX keys, I think that's what it is, can be used with a Mac or PC. But if you have a keyboard that doesn't have both, it might be more difficult. You may not even, I don't know, does a Mac even have, oh yeah, it has Control. I'm just looking at my MacBook here. So yeah, I can get back to you. I'll try to remember. I'll look back and figure out how I did that, and then let you know, because I did find it. I did find it very. That's the one thing that I just could not. I don't know. My finger. I always use my little finger on the control button, but I almost have to tuck it underneath my hand to get to that command, and it just wasn't. My son tried to tell me, well, just use your thumb. So, well, that's. I don't know. It's like, I suppose if I didn't have my little finger, then I'd have to figure it out, right? I'd have to figure out a different way to do it. Yeah, that's. I'll get back to you. I'll let you know how I actually did that. All right, how are we doing for time? We're at 5 to 3, and okay. So I talked about the latest videos, the upcoming videos. Just real quick. Tomorrow, coming out with a video on corner pinning, 3D screens, and mapping your screen recordings to a 3D screen. I'm going to show best ways to do that and how to animate to that. Once again, here comes the animations, right? And then the next one's going to be freeze region and how to use that. It's not something I've used that much, but it's something, it's easier to do something that I used to do a different way. So that video is going to go over that. That'll be Friday. Monday, I don't know yet. What I've got written down here for Monday is wait now. Tomorrow, yeah, corner for Monday. The dual camera scene is what I've got written down. So for next week, dual camera scene, hologram, and cursor path editing. I haven't gotten into that yet. I'm going to get into color filters and LUTs, a floating effect, manage the library. Going to revisit Camtasia Rev, how to move screens in 3D, and themes, effect easing, and that will take us up to Tuesday, June 4th, which is when Camtasia 2024 is coming out. June 4th. I'm really looking forward to that. Again, so that live stream will probably be the same time, 1 o'clock Eastern. But I'm going to be prepared. It's probably going to be a little bit longer than my typical ones, although I have been running a bit long. I've been running close to 2 hours, but that might be 2 to 3 hours. Who knows? As long as it takes, and as long as you guys have questions, like all of them. And Ben says, sounds great, Ree, the upcoming videos. Awesome. Good. And again, once 2024 comes out, then we'll start looking at the new things that are in that. Of course, we'll go over them in that live stream. But then the new videos will be probably not the one the very next day. I might need a day or so but by that Friday, perhaps, the 2024 new things. Assuming there are a bunch of new things, I don't know what's coming, but I should know before we go live, before it's actually released. So that's I'm really appreciative of the folks at TechSmith to give me a sneak peek of that stuff before it actually comes out. So that's awesome. So I can share it with you guys. Next, so Camtasia 24. That's what we're talking about now. So I don't think there's anything else to say. Yeah, I mean, I can't even say, like, if there's anything you'd like to see in the 2024 version, let me know. Not that I can. It's going to stop here, but I've got some things that I'd like to see in it, but I have no idea what's going to be in it. So, and that's the thing. They come out with a full version every year that has a whole bunch of new things in it. And in fact, this year, 2023, about halfway through the year, they came out with, so in October of 2023 is when they launched Rev, right? Camtasia Rev, the kind of the AI way to kind of pre-assemble your video after you've recorded it. I don't use it that much myself, but I did make a video on it, and it is pretty cool, especially if you're just starting and you want a quick solution. You don't want to spend too much time manually setting things up the way you want them. Camtasia Rev is awesome. It shortens the learning curve for those who are just starting out, for sure. But that was not in 2023 when 2023 came out last spring. They only released that in October. So they don't only release major new things on the major release, but they typically, I expect some pretty cool things. But that's really all I can say about that. So today, if there's no other questions, I can get, so we're right down here at number 5, multiple blur regions, and watch me edit tomorrow's video. So the multiple blur regions won't take me that long to go through. There's 2 different ways that I know of to do this. And I think 2 or 3 people asked me about this in the comments section of the blur region video I came out with. Was that yesterday? Yesterday. I made it last week. And once I go through that, then I'm actually going to edit. So I'll get into that. I'm going to edit. You're going to be able to watch me edit a video. I'm not going to talk as much. I'll talk my way through it. But I have recorded tomorrow's video already, just the raw stuff, the raw audio and screenshot and video. And I'm going to put it together, and you can watch me put it together. It should take me about, it might take me, I should be able to do it in under an hour. And if you want to watch that, great. If not, don't worry about it. But let me get into multiple blur regions right now. So let me share my screen again. Here we are. Now, is this what I want to? let me just switch gears here. I just have to, where are we? Did I not even write? Oh, here we go. Okay, so yeah, so I've got three things that I want to show you with the blur regions. And they are, let me get the right file open here. I'm going to close this one. I'll just bring it up here. Once again, I'm getting a lot of windows open on that screen. Let's go over to my projects. Blur region, sample project. Is this a good one to use? Here we go. Let's fit that. This is the video. This is the sample project for the blur region video that I made last week, that I released, that I posted yesterday. Now, if you want to blur, so what I want to go through is how to blur two regions, okay? Let me just back this up. I don't need to save all of this. That was a little rotation. Let's just get rid of that. Okay, so now, so once again, let me get rid of that animation too. So once again, here is the blur region. It's an effect, and you can find it in Visual Effects right here, blur region. So for those who haven't seen my video from yesterday, there are two ways. Well, I just showed you, actually. I just showed when we went through the artificially blurring the background, right? Two different ways to blur something, the blur region or the blur annotation or callout. Okay, so but with the blur region, we have this area here is where we've defined the blur region, right? Let's say we want to blur that URL out. Okay, if I want to blur another place, what you have to do is duplicate this track, this clip, okay? And on this one, let's just delete it. We'll start from the beginning. So this one has the blur region effect on it right here, and this one does not. Okay, no blur region. Let's say we wanted to blur something up here. Okay, what I want to do is with this track, I am going to crop it in to the area that I want to blur. Okay, let's say it's over here, and let's say it's up near the top. And now what you have, just so you can see what's going on, this top track is just here. I've cropped it in. This clip, this top clip, I've cropped it into here. So we can add a blur region to that, drag it over here, and blur whatever you want to blur. Let's say we want to blur those two things right there. Just like that. And again, we just want to blur. We don't want to add a tint. So over here in the properties, we'll bring the tint down. Okay, so we've blurred those two things. Just kind of play around with it till it looks the way you want it. Okay, so we've blurred that on this one. And on this one, we've blurred that. Okay? But together, you can see they are both blurred. Okay? Now, if you want to, I mean, you can add a third, right? Control V, get another one. And another way you can do this is highlight the blur region. Actually, let's delete that. It'd be easier if I copied this one because it's full screen. Control C, Control V, copy and paste. And this time, let's have the blur over this here. Or number 5, say. Like that. And opacity is already 0. Okay. And for this one, again, we're going to want to crop this in because we want to be able to see this blur here, which is underneath it. And we want to be able to see that other blur. Okay, so you're basically creating building blocks. Okay. So what I did there is I held down the Option key, or you can do it Alt on a PC. If you hold that down when you click on this eyeball, if you don't hold anything, you click on this, you can either hide it or make it visible. If you hold down Option or Alt while you click that, you're basically soloing that track. It hides everything else but that. Okay, so that on that track, we just have that. On this one, we just have that. And on this one, we have the whole thing, but only this one blurred region. Okay, so they're all blurred together. Now we are going to highlight everything, right click, and group. So now it is all one big thing. All right, and now you can, I'm going to show you, actually this will tie in tomorrow's video as well. You can either, let's put it back onto select here. You can start moving it around, right? So you're moving it around, all the blurs are moving with it. Okay, you can change the rotation. Okay, the typical use case would be to put an animation on it, so we can animate the whole thing. Let's say we want to animate up to this right corner here. Let's just zoom out. So we want to animate like that. We'll right click this. Animation easing is on. Yep. So now we have this effect with, and see that? These blur regions animated with it. Okay. Now something else is you can also do it with an animation. With the animation, you can modify the angle with corner pinning, right? Like this. Let's say you want to move it around, I don't know, however you want to. Right? Get a 3D effect. And as you can see, the whole time I'm doing this, these three regions are all still, the blurs are moving with the screen. Okay, so that is an animation I just created now that looks like this. Okay, like that. What do you think? Is that, you think that would be useful? It's not, so it is a workaround. Just like, I think it's an easier workaround than animating the blur annotations with the screen. Okay, instead you build your, so for each blur region you're going to want to add, you want to add to your clip, you have to make another copy of that clip. Okay, and then you can crop it so that it's not overlapping any other blurs that you want to show, right? And then you group them all back together again, and then you can animate them all together. Okay, that's how I would do that. And let me just quickly check the chat. No new chats, so all good? Is that all good? If that is good, let me just take a quick break to get a drink. If you have any other questions, now's your time to ask them. Otherwise, the next thing I'm going to do is get into editing tomorrow's video, and then you can see me see the process I go through to edit a video, and basically I'll be proving to you that I make my YouTube videos in Camtasia, and I'm going to show you how I do it. And it's about corner pinning, which I just kind of showed you a little bit of there in that demonstration. How's everybody doing? Looks like we have 10 people in the live stream right now. We have had as many as 12. Awesome, that's pretty typical. Good to see it grow a little bit from week to week. I anticipate the Camtasia 2024 launch date is going to be probably a busy one. So there's going to be lots of questions and answers going on in that live chat, live stream. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. So yeah, if there's no other questions, I'm just going to move right on. We're at 3:10, so it's 2:10 Eastern time. So let's see if I can get this done in under an hour. It shouldn't take that long, but you'll see everything that I do. So let me go back to the screen here. I'm going to control save that. I don't know why I'm saving that, but I did, and we can save that one. And now we are here, and we got UTERP Lab. Hi, Rob from Italy. Always a pleasure to see you again. Welcome to the live stream. Thanks for stopping in. Good to see you again. I believe you were here last week. Awesome. So for those just joining, I am about to walk you through what I do to edit a video, to get a video ready for YouTube. So to kind of set things up a little bit, what I did ahead of time, and I only did this about an hour before I went live, I got my script. Okay, so when I write a script for my YouTube videos, I don't know if you've seen enough of them, you probably noticed that all the ones from this year kind of have the same template. So I've got a 1 or 2 sentence introduction at the beginning, and then the body of the tutorial or video, and then a outro or an ending where I basically just wrap things up and talk about the live streams that you can hopefully join in on, like this. So the intro and the outro, or the intro and the ending, I script. I write them out in Google Docs, okay, and then I save them, and then I use an app called Prompt Smart on my iPhone, and I put that. I'm not going to be able to show you exactly how I do it, but because I'm going to use my phone right now, my phone's camera. So, but what I do is, if I could take this phone, I can't because you're looking at it, but basically I use an app called Prompt Smart, and so there's my Google Docs, the script written out, saved, and then I go into Prompt Smart and I download that file into Prompt Smart, and then I load it up and I put it on my teleprompter right here. I lay the phone across here, and then this teleprompter here, so the text goes up to that and bounces out towards me, and I can see, I mean, you can kind of see the lens of the camera inside there. See, that is, the teleprompter's hanging off the lens of the camera. If you can see that, that's that Sigma 16mm lens. The teleprompter hangs off of that, and then the phone has the text on it, and I just read from that. So I've already done that. I've already done that for this video. I recorded myself reading that script, and I've got that saved as a file. Here, let me open a new project. I'll show. So, trying to think of the best way to show you this. Let's just start a project here. Welcome to Camtasia. I have created a template. Okay, and I created a video on how to create a template and why they're good a week or 2 ago, which you can see in my videos if you wanted to know how to make one. But what I do now is I go new from template. So I'm going to click this, and here is the Rob's How-To 2024 template that I created. So I'm going to click on this and click new from template. That's creating a new project file. So here we go, and the template is already loaded in. And I have more in here than I probably need, but I like to leave some things in there so I know I can remind myself of how I put these together. So I've got my intro here. Okay, these 2 tracks are the audio and the video. The intro doesn't have any screen sharing. It doesn't have any screen recording at all. And same with the outro or the ending. The ending is here. Okay, and I'm just using this as a template for now. I have been for the last few weeks. Incidentally, let me know if you're getting tired of the intro and the ending that I'm using now, or if you want me to change the music up. I'm using the same music, and it's right there. It's from Epidemic Sound, Evergreen Fields by Tape Machines. So it's there, it's there. It's also the same music I use for the intro of these live streams that plays for 2 minutes. But yeah, let me know if you're getting tired of it. I can change that up. So here we go. I will save this now. File, save as. And let's go to my projects right here. Corner pinning. And let's call this corner pinning. And you see I have 2 folders in here, recordings. That's where the things that I've already recorded are. And the sample project, I always have a sample project that I'm using in my recordings. Okay, so that lives in there. Okay, so here's my project. It's all saved. And now just so you can see, I'm going to bring this over. I'm going to bring over my file manager just so you can see what's going on. So this is the new project file I just saved, cornerpinning.cmproj, cam project. My recordings and my sample project. So in the sample project, I have a couple of images. I've got my sample project, Camtasia project, and I have a couple of videos. Okay, and then in the recordings, this is what I've prepared ahead of time. So there are 6, 2, 4, 6. Oh, there's one missing. Yeah, I forgot to put that in here. Let's, I'm just going to rename that OBS. The screen recording is not in there. So it's here though. So let's drag it and drop it in here. Called OBS. Okay. So what I have here, so we've got 4 audio files: corner pinning processed, corner pinning body processed. It's only the processed files that we're going to use. That's because so the body files are, and this one, the one that are not processed, those are the raw audio that I recorded and captured in Adobe Audition. You can use Audition, you can use Audiate, or what's the one called? Wave Editor, WavePad Editor. Any recording software. I believe you can use Audiate. Did I already say that? I haven't used Audiate yet myself. At some point I will get into that. But anyways, I then do a couple things to my voice to make it sound, in my opinion, better. So I add a little bass, a little treble. I put a noise gate in there to reduce some of the noise on the highs and the lows. I normalize it so the volume doesn't go all up and down. It's a little more consistent. So that's what I've done. And I'll go through that another day as to exactly how to do that. I'm not going to get into that today. But so here are my files. So now that you see what I'm pulling from, I'm going to put that back on my left monitor. At any point, if you have any questions, feel free just to ask. So you can, I don't want to get too far ahead so that you don't understand what I'm doing here. This is probably going to take longer than I think because I'm talking my way through it. Okay, so let's start with, what I didn't tell you is back here again. So 4 audio files. That is my screen recording. Okay, I used OBS to record the screen. Can you see my screen? It looks like maybe you can't. Oh, I'm sure you can. Oh, there. Oh, that's just running a little behind. And then these two files are directly from my camera. Okay? And the reason there are two is because I film my intro and outro together, and then I film the body together. So the intro, outro, I only capture my voice and the camera. For the body, I capture my voice, the camera, and the screen. Okay? So that's what we're starting with. And what I do is I start with the intro and ending. So let's give ourselves some space. I'm going to double click there. I'm going to give ourselves a little bit of space. I'm going to hold shift and drag this playhead way over here. How long is this? I guess, well, the intro and outro aren't that long at all. So let's just put the playhead here. Let's grab, and I'm looking down here. I have the audio on the lower track. This track here, track 1 is background music. Okay. Track 2 is my voice audio. Track 3 is my video. So let's grab the voice audio, corner pinning processed. I'm going to drag that down here. And then I'm going to grab the camera file that I recorded at the same time. Okay. How long? I'm just going to double click to start playing the, so the body one is just under 14 minutes. So, and I'm going to paste that here. So I'm going to want a little more space. If I say put that up to 20, that should be plenty of room. Okay, so that's going to be the, right here is the intro and the outro. Now let's go with the body. So start with the audio. Oh, all kinds of room. There's the audio of the body. And then I go with the screen recording. It's right here. And then finally the camera recording. Okay, and now this, I can drag this back to close the gap a little bit. Right now we're at about 16 minutes before the outro starts. It's going to be shorter than that because I made some mistakes, as you're going to see. All right, so let's, with the playhead at the very beginning, let's zoom in. And now I need to sync these up by the audio waveforms. A little echo there, so it's not perfect yet. Let's just save this. I'm going to delete that. How's my computer doing? It's doing just fine. Zoom in a little farther. I made a video on how to sync these up about a month ago, I think. I think that looks pretty good. And everything else should be synced up. So when I record the section, I leave everything running and I get everything, including mistakes, I leave them all in, right? Because now we're gonna edit them all together. So if I think that's right, I will right click this and I'm going to silence the audio from the video track. So there's only one copy of the audio. Oh, Steve says we don't hear the audio, Rob. Okay, thank you. Let me, why don't you hear the audio? This one? You can't hear that? Nothing. Okay. Why not? Let me see now. Let's add. with me here. Trying to figure out how to get the audio. No, not like that. Oh. Uterp Lab says audio is okay. Can you hear? So the question is, so I know Steve can hear my audio, but let me know, Uterp Lab, can you hear the audio in the video if I press play here? That is what I think Steve can't hear. Square Egg says can't hear the video audio. Okay, that's unfortunate. I don't know why you wouldn't be able to hear that. If I go through the settings here, oh, system audio. Let's try that. Any 3D screen or device template. It looks like that works. Can you hear that? I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or... Awesome. All right. Whew. Okay, system audio. I'm going to forget how I did that, so we'll probably have to revisit that again. Okay, thank you for that. Because that's kind of, I probably could have done this without you hearing that, but it makes it a little, it'll make a little more sense if you can actually hear that too. So, all right, so all right, well, let me right click this and restore the audio to the camera. So this is what we were hearing at first.
I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or...
Can you tell that there's an echo there? That's because there's two copies of the audio. This one here is the audio track, just audio, that I captured in Adobe Audition on my computer. This one is from my camera that has a mic built in, so that audio doesn't sound as good. And you can tell if you just listen to that one.
Show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or...
Okay. Whereas this one...
Put your screen recordings on any...
Sounds better. Okay. So...
Your screen recordings...
Let me right click and silence this audio. And now I just want to test it.
This video, I'll show you how to put your screen record...
Now that doesn't look quite right.
Show you how to put your screen...
Wrong way. I always fiddle with...
I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D...
That looks pretty good. Actually, I should zoom in a lot more.
Screen or device template. Video, I'll show you how to put... In this video, I'll show you...
Wrong way.
You how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen. I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or device template. And then take it.
Okay, I think that's pretty good. Agreed? That looks
show
good.
you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or device.
All right, so now, once I have them synced up, I will have to start cutting what I don't want. So this obviously...
Test.
That was a test. So I believe I'm going to start right here. Highlight, S to split, highlight, backspace.
In this video,
I can start a little quicker than that. I don't like much of a wait. I like to get right into it.
In this video, I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or device template. And then take it to the...
So let's cut it there. Cut it there. Delete. Hold Shift. Drag this back.
Or device template. And then... Device template. And then...
Okay, what I should do, it's a little choppy, so I should right click and create a proxy video of this intro. Things will be able to, I'll be able to edit it a little smoother if I create the proxy video. I could also close some windows. A lot of windows open. Okay, that's almost. Okay, proxy video is created. You can tell by the orange dot here, or circle. It's also here.
Device template, and then take it to the next level by animating it. Let's get into it.
Okay, that's probably good right there. I can delete a little more. Delete that.
By animating it. Let's get into it.
A little too much of a pause there, so I can cut that out. Like that. Shift and drag.
Animating it. Let's get into it.
Okay. I think it's because I've got eCam running and I'm streaming and all this. It looks a little jittery to me, but and it may to you as well. It doesn't when I'm only doing this and I'm not streaming at the same time. So that I might just be doing too much at one time with my computer. But this will work. So that's the intro. Intro is done. And I can go back here, drag the intro to the beginning. Now I've grouped some of these things together. So up here, so this text here, I'm not going to need that. Delete that. That was for that specific video. And that's a little whoosh sound that I do when I zoom in.
If you edit videos in Camtasia, you really should.
Okay, the other thing I do is notice how this group here doesn't start at the very beginning. Or sorry, this doesn't line up with the very end of that. That is because there's something in this group that starts a little bit before this stuff, if that makes sense. So right click, I always right click and ungroup this so you can see. It's that logo. I have that starting a little bit sooner. So anyways, I unclick and I want this to snap to that. And I also want this, so this may be a different length than this, all depending on what I say. So I may need to move this with all of this all at once. So watch what I do here. I'm going to highlight all of this, delete it, and I'm going to highlight all this new intro and slide it in. Wow, that's very close. But what I'm going to do now is I am going to highlight or select all of that, including the music, and I'm going to drag it out a bit so that it snaps to the end there. Now I will just drag, oh, no, sorry, Control Z. I didn't want to do everything, just this music. Drag that to the beginning like that. Okay, now the title. Got a new comment here. Brigadier William Wild Beast, hello from the beautiful island of Mauritius. Hello, welcome. Thanks for joining the live stream. Hope you're well. So I am now going to change the title. So what is this? Corner pinning. So let's call this, what is the title that I was going to use this? So I believe the title I came up with for the YouTube video, match any 3D screen with corner pinning, Camtasia tutorial. So what's a good title to type in here? I only have room for so best keyboard shortcuts, corner pinning. Let's just say corner pinning. Corner pinning. I could also do animating corner pinning, although that's not in the title. Let's just leave it at that. Corner pinning. Now I also have to change it back here because I have it typed in twice. This one, I have the keyboard typing on with the sound effect. And that one I have just a different effect. So corner pinning, let's change it here as well. And there's our intro. Whoops.
Let's get into it.
Okay. Intro is done. Let's take a look at what we got here. Let's get back into this. This was our outro.
If you want more tip...
So you're going to see all the mistakes. So what I was doing there is I was adjusting my teleprompter on my phone. I was going to the outro section. So let's play this.
If you want more tips like this, come...
What's this?
I show you how I make...
Okay, so that I obviously want to keep. Let's zoom in. So this is going to start playing right after the whole body. Okay, this is the outro. Highlight. We'll split that. We'll delete that.
If you want more tips like this, come join me on... If you want more...
No, I'm smiling too long before I actually... This is a little challenging doing this while I'm live streaming because there is a bit of a delay.
If you want more tips like this, come join me on Tuesdays for my weekly live stream. I live stream every Tuesday here on YouTube, sharing my screen and doing how-to tutorials.
Let's cut it there. Actually, I'm going to take out this little space as well. Split and split. Highlight, delete, press and hold shift, close the gap.
How-to tutorials. I show you how I make my video.
Split, delete, shift.
I show you how I make my videos and I answer any questions you have live. So if you're...
Pamela says, I love bloopers. Well, you may see some. You may see some bloopers in this.
live. So if you're looking to level up your videos, join me on Tuesdays. I'm Rob, and I'll see you in the next video or in a live stream. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so let's just clean this up. I'm just going by the waveforms, the audio waveforms. Double click, shift, pull it back. Then we can delete that. So at the end, I just go up and I press stop. Just press stop on the camera. So we can delete that. There is the outro. Okay, so I'm going to highlight all of that. Okay, this gets a little harder to actually move, but I can. Let's click this and drag it over to the end. See what I'm doing? It just has to go to the very end. The outro is going to slot in right here. And we can either match this up now or get into the main part. So there's a number of different ways you can do this. Let's go ahead with this body part here. So just for reference, here's where we are. We've done the intro. And in fact, we can clean that up a little bit. I've left the... I should regroup everything here. Let's regroup that. Okay. And then I right click and remove all empty tracks. I do that every once in a while to clean things up, because every time you ungroup something, it creates a whole bunch of new tracks up above. Okay, so now we can double click here, start shifting this back a little bit. Where are we now? We're looking at about a 15-minute video right now, but there's some things I can cut out. Well, there's definitely things that are going to be cut out. Okay, so now we want to line these up. Line the audio forms up. So you can kind of see, just by looking at them, you can kind of see what goes where. I always do a little test at the beginning.
Test. Test. Main body. Excuse me.
I had to clear my throat. So let's just zoom right in. Yeah, you can see that they're not synced. So sync them as best you can. Now, and also keep in mind what is what, right? So my good audio track is what's at the bottom. Okay, that's my good audio track. Then I have my screen sharing, and then and the screen sharing captured the same audio basically as my audio track because it's through the computer. And then this is the audio from my camera. So let's see if that's a little bit better.
Sometimes
Let's zoom out. So I don't really start until here.
Sometimes when you do a screen recording,
Okay, so it's right around there. But I'm going to want to delete everything in the beginning here. But I first want, so I'm having a little bit of trouble knowing if, so I may have to adjust this afterwards. But because of the delay, like what I'm seeing in the audio in the video isn't quite lining up what I'm seeing. So this I may or may not have to adjust this a little bit later. But I'll get it as close as I can for now.
Sometimes when you do a screen recording,
that to me looks pretty good. Then what I do is I highlight both of these, the two clips with the audio that I don't want. I highlight them both, right click, silence audio. Now I just have one audio track.
Sometimes when you do a screen recording,
so to me that doesn't look like it is perfectly synced up, but I am going to assume it is.
Sometimes when you...
Now it looks like the audio takes too long.
Sometimes when you do a screen...
To me that looks better.
Sometimes when you do a...
No. One that way.
Sometimes when you do a...
Let's go with that. So again, if you weren't live streaming at the same time you're doing this, it's not as big of a deal. So I'm going to delete all of that. Now let's zoom until I see this, hold shift, click and drag this back. Let's zoom in a little bit more so I can see everything that I'm dealing with here. Now I want to bring this to here. Click. I'm holding shift, click and drag. So I want this all to start right after the intro. Right there. So let's see what that looks like.
Let's get into it. Sometimes when you do a screen recording...
Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, one thing I forgot to do over here is under visual effects, I want to bring down the color adjustment. Bring it down here. Color adjustment, and I want to change that. What are the settings I usually use? -6, I think? Yeah. -6, 5, and 24. -6, 5, 24. Okay, and you can toggle this on and off to see the difference. So I just basically added some contrast to it and made it look a little poppier. And now what I can do is I can highlight that color adjustment effect, Control C to copy it, and then paste it over to these two. I'll put the playhead here so you can see the effect. Control V, paste. Okay, and then I'll put it over here, Control V, paste it there. And let's also go right to the outro and select all of them. Control V, paste. Okay. Color correction done for everything that I'll be using. I'll zoom back in here. Now, next thing I do is I highlight this top track and I remove my background. So that's the way I've been doing this lately. I could either do a corner mask or like a circle mask down in the corner. But what I like to do is remove the background like this. And then I will make myself smaller like this. I usually look at, that says 53%. I usually scale myself down to in the 40s, low 40s, something like that. Okay, and then I will flip myself so I'm kind of facing the work, and that's on the Z-axis. Type in 180 degrees. Whoops, wrong one. Y-axis, 180 degrees. There we go. Hold shift and drag this to the edge somewhere, and then just kind of test it. That's a good spot. Okay, that's why I put myself, the camera, above the screen recording. Okay, now it kind of has this effect. Oh, I know one thing I forgot to do was the zoom here. Let's add so the intro, I left the audio there for the zoom, but I didn't put the actual zoom in. So let's put a custom zoom down on my camera. I'm going to right click, make sure easing is on. It is. And now let's zoom. I'm going to go up here. Playhead is at the end of the arrow, and I'm going to scale that in a bit, like that. Hold shift and drag it down. Maybe drag it over a little bit. See what that looks like.
In this video, I'll show you how to put your screen recordings.
I usually like that to happen a little faster.
In this video, I'll show you how to put your screen recordings on any 3D screen or device template, and then...
Okay, that should be a bigger zoom than that. That zoom is 123.4. Let's make this 140. But I need to bring myself down. One thing you want to look, here's a tip. When you do a zoom like this, or like a jump cut, this is more like a jump cut. When you do a jump cut, what you typically want to look for, whoops, view, canvas snapping off, okay. Sorry, when you do a jump cut, you generally want, and if you're doing it on a person, so it's myself in the camera, you generally want to keep the eyes of the person in the relatively the same place. Okay, so if I'm going from here to here, I want my eyes to be roughly in the same place. I think I have to drag myself over that way a bit.
Or device template, and then take it to the next level by animating it. Let's get into it.
Okay.
Sometimes when you do a screen recording, you may want to put your recording in a frame in your video so that it looks like it's...
Okay, so now so that's it for the intro. Now we're moving on to the body. So at this point, it all depends on how many mistakes I made, right? So you'll see the mistakes I made, and you'll see how many of them I make, because we're going to just go through this and cut them out.
On an iPhone, or put your recording in a frame in your video so that it looks like it's on an iPhone or on a laptop screen. So you can get those device frames.
So I could cut, I mean, you can get as picky as you want, but I could cut that out.
So you can get those device frames either in Camtasia or on the internet from a program like Canva. And then you can,
okay, so I messed up.
But sometimes those images like Canva, and then you can, but sometimes those
okay,
like Canva.
So I'm going to cut it there. And we'll cut it here. Cut that out because that was a mistake. Hold down Shift, drag the playhead back.
Program like Canva, but sometimes those images
Hi, Greg. You're late, but you made it. Welcome.
Are not straight on. They may be in 3D. They may be turned a little bit to the side. Let me show you how to put your screen recordings on those device frames so that it looks perfect. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways. Here's a sample project I've got open, and I've already
just trying to remember
on those device frames. Let me show you how to put your screen recordings on those device frames.
So I think I want to cut it there.
So that it looks perfect. So I'm going to show you a couple different.
I'll cut it there. We'll cut that out. Shift and drag that back.
Frames so that it looks perfect. So I'm going to show you a couple different ways. So the first thing I'm going to show you, here's a sample project I've got open.
Messed up.
Here's a sample project I've got open, and I've already got a couple of
so I think I want to keep this
frames so that it looks perfect. So I'm going to show.
I cut all that out. I'll double click there, click away, shift, click and drag.
So that it looks perfect. Here's a sample project I've got open, and I've already got a couple of screens and
Nope, messed up.
And I've already got a couple of recordings done ahead of.
Okay, so I want to keep that.
And I've already got a couple of Here's a sample project I've got open, and I've already got.
Okay, this is going to be a difficult cut. So I want to keep.
And I've already got a couple of
that.
Here's a sample project I've got open, and I've got to cut that out. This is going to be hard to do.
I think it's there. Let's see what that looks like.
Sample project I've got open, and I've already got a couple of recordings done ahead of time. I've got a screen recording right here, and I have a iPhone recording here. So I'm going to show them both to you. Let's do the screen recording first. So let's take this image here. This is an image I got off the internet. Actually, I got it from Canva. And what I did, actually, I got this image here, and I also I put a little bit of a transparent. This image here, and I also I put a little bit of a transparent background here off to the side so that we could put some text there, or even myself if I was going to be presenting on this laptop. So we've got this down here. Now let's bring down the recording. So we'll click here and drag the recording down to the timeline. Okay, and that's just a recording that I did of myself in Canva. That's where I make my thumbnails. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, not the first thing. So what we need to do now is stretch this thumbnails. Okay, so the first thing we need to do, not the first thing. So what we need to do now is stretch this image out so it lasts just.
Okay, so I want to cut that out there. Backspace, shift, drag. If you guys have any questions while I'm doing this, feel free to ask. I can see the live chat just up here.
Thumbnails. So what we need to do now is stretch this image out so it lasts just as long as the recording. I see I have to turn timeline snapping on. So let's make them both the same length. Now you can't see the background because this is hiding it, as you can see. Okay, so now what you do to get the corners to line up, all you have to do is click on this corner pinning icon right here. And just gonna quickly answer this question. Bent, sorry, didn't pay attention. Is this video you were editing for an upcoming video? Yes, this video is going to be the video. It's the video I recorded this morning, and I'm going to post it on YouTube tomorrow. So this video is tomorrow's video. So I'm killing two birds with one stone here. I'm live, and I'm also editing my video. When I'm finished here, I will actually, after I finish this live stream, I'm going to double check everything here with this video just to make sure the audio lined up well before I export it or render it and then upload it to YouTube. So that's the process, what I'm going to do. Corner pinning icon right here, and then click each of the corners and drag them to the corners. Now I have to turn. Just make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. To turn canvas snapping off to make this easier. And I'll have to zoom in so I can get to the other corners. And just put all the four corners, match them up with the four corners of the screen. Okay, I usually like to do it as close as I can, get it as close to correct as I can, and then I'll zoom in. And then I'll just make some small adjustments. I think that looks good there. That looks good. There. And maybe just down a little bit here. Okay, now let's fit this to the entire screen. And that's it. So let's see what this looks like. So there, now you can see the screen recording is occurring within the device frame. Okay. Whoops. And then when you're finished moving the... Okay, I don't need all that empty space. Occurring within the device frame. Okay. Whoops. There's not a lot I can cut out there. A little bit. Let's make a cut there and drag it back to there and make a cut just to get rid of some of the extra space within the device frame. Okay, delete that and close the gap, and we've got this. The device frame. That look all right? Occurring within the device frame. And then when you're finished moving the corners, you would want to click the select button again. Oh, I know I messed up there. It's not a button, it's an icon. And when you're finished moving the corners around, yeah, I knew I redid that. It's easier if you do your editing fairly shortly after you do the recording, so you can remember what you've messed up with. So, and then when you're finished moving the... So I'm going to replace that with this. And when you're finished moving the corner... So I'm going to make my cut here at the end first. And then I'm just going to kind of take note of where the cursor is. It's kind of right there. And I drag the playhead back. Yeah, no, it's not going to be at exactly the right spot, but that's all right. Let's delete that. Double click and shift and click and drag. So we keep making the video shorter. Let's just see what this looks like now. Within the device frame. And when you're finished moving the corners around, you just want to click back to the select or edit icon. Now let me show you how to do it on a device frame.
Oh, messed up.
There's a couple of other things I want to show you. Some things you might run into. For example, some things you might run.
Okay, so let's go back here. I've got an idea as to what I want to cut out. I know I want to make a cut there, and I think I messed this up.
Now let me show you how to do it on a device frame. There's a couple of other things I want to show you. Some things you might run into. For example, some things you might run into.
That was an I think.
Um,
So we'll get rid of that too. Close this gap.
Now let me show you how to do it on a device frame. Device frame. There's a couple of other things.
Oh, I wanted to get rid of all that. I'll make a cut there, and I want to get rid of both of these. So sometimes it just takes a while to get exactly what you're looking for. Let's just see if this makes sense.
And when you're finished moving the corners around, you just want to click back to the select or edit icon. There's a couple of other things I want to show you. Some things you might run into, like maybe it doesn't exactly match up because the corners are rounded perhaps. Let me show you that on this next one. So here, let's grab this image here that I took off the internet as well. So this time the image fills the entire.
Before I get too far here, this is where my second way is just starting. So
or edit icon. There's a couple other.
So I'm going to double click right here, and at this point I'm going to select marker, and just up here I'm going to click there and put a marker. So I'm going to go second way is all I'm calling it for now. And that's just to tell me that when I go back through it and when I identify where my chapters are going to be, I know that I'm going to have one at 3:18. Okay? Just makes it easier later on.
There's a couple of other things I want to show you. Some things you might run into, like maybe it doesn't exactly match up because the corners are rounded perhaps. Let me show you that on this next one. So here, let's grab this image here that I took off the internet as well. So this time the image fills the entire background. And now this is the recording I took off of my phone. Let's bring this down. Let me just reorganize here a little bit. I'll bring these down here. And again, let's stretch the image out across the entire timeline. Now let's go ahead and highlight the actual recording. So that is the recording. Okay, let's highlight the recording. Click on corner pinning again. Click on corner pinning again.
Okay, I said that twice. I messed up the word
Pinning. Click on corner printing again.
Corner printing. So I knew I said that wrong, so we'll cut that out. So much easier to just, if you say something and you've said it wrong, it's so much easier just to say it again and then just keep going, finish your entire video, and then when you're editing, take care of all the mistakes all at once. So much easier that way, instead of trying to stitch all kinds of things together. If I had stopped the recording of my camera and the audio and the screen recording, if I stop all those just because I mess up on one word and then have to restart everything again, that would just take forever. Impractical. So that's why I strongly suggest just talk through your mistakes, just say stuff again. It's so much easier just to cut out the mistakes later.
That is the recording. Okay, let's highlight the recording. Click on corner pinning again, and let's match up the corners. As you can see, the corners of our frame in the image are rounded, and there's a very easy way to fix that here. All you do is you go with this selected, and it doesn't matter if you have corner pinning on or the select one on. You can go up here to visual effects, and look for corner rounding.
I didn't need all that space. The mouse didn't even move during that gap, so, or not much anyway, so I can reduce a couple seconds. Another suggestion when making videos that you want people to maintain their interest in, whether it's for YouTube or whatever, try to make it as short as you can with getting your point across. So I guess try to resist the temptation to add extra stuff just for the sake of adding extra stuff. And if there's nothing going on the screen and I'm not saying anything, cut it out. Right? People's attention spans aren't very long these days, is what I'm finding.
Visual effects, and look for corner rounding right here. Click that and drag it to the recording. Not the background, but the recording. So now if you zoom in, come over here to the properties where it says corner rounding.
Okay, so in this case, I'm a little bit in the way, so I'm going to do a little animation here. So how long do I talk about the corner rounding? Not very long. Just
background, but the recording. So now if you zoom in.
So at this point, my cursor went kind of behind my head. I'm going to bring a custom animation down to my camera, and I'm going to just move myself out of the way. Okay? And I want to make sure easing is on. I just think it looks better with, yep, it is. So now we have this.
Now if you zoom in, come over here to the properties where it says corner.
Right. I could flip myself, but I don't think that's necessary. That would take people's attention off of what I want them to be looking at. So I'm not going to bother flipping myself to look at the cursor.
Corner rounding, and start dialing this up, the radius up like this, until the corners seem to match.
Okay, I think that's all I do over there at the corner radius.
Seem to match. Okay, and then move the corner pinning to match.
So at that point, I can bring in a restore animation. That just restores it to where it was before this last one. So this animation.
Come over here to the properties where it says corner rounding, and start dialing this up, the radius up like this, until the corners seem to match. Okay, and then move the corner pinning corners again to match up.
Now I'm not saying anything here, but I'm doing stuff, so I can let that.
Like that, I think that.
I mean, what I could do, I could cut a lot of that out and put a clip speed on the screen recording part, and then that would happen a lot quicker. I'll show you what I mean. I'll do that.
Again, to match up.
So that's the last thing I say for a bit. Let's make a cut here. And then I don't say anything through all this, and my face, I'm still looking in the same spot. So
Like that, I think that looks good.
So I want to keep that. So let's make a cut here. Now, I'm going to delete all of this audio, highlight it, delete it, and now I want to speed up just the screen recording. I don't want to speed up, I don't want to clip speed up the camera, because then it would look like all fast motion. I don't need to do that because my face is always kind of looking in the same place anyways. It would still look fine if they go out of sync. There's no audio on either of these, so let's add a clip speed to the screen part. Add clip speed, and let's click here and drag this so it happens much faster. Let's see what that looks like.
Here's again to match up.
I think that's all right. That didn't happen too fast, did it?
Up.
Okay, and people aren't going to be really looking at my face, so they can't tell that I'm not necessarily looking at anything different. And now I can cut all this out. Okay? Best way to do that is just ask to split that, delete. Now I'm just going to click this and drag it back to match that one. Now I'm going to double click here, click away, shift, click and drag this here to that. Let's see what else. So I just cut out, I don't know, 10 seconds or so. Corners again to match up. That, I think that looks good. Let's fit that to, I think that worked out all right. To the canvas. Oh, I still see a little bit of a line. The canvas. Yeah, there's a lot of extra space I can get rid of here. I don't need all that. It's not adding to the story, right? There's nothing going on the screen. Canvas. Oh, I still see a little bit of a line here, so let me just fix that one a little bit. I think I just have to bring this over a little. Just like that. And you can get as precise as you want. The corner rounding really makes it easy. And then that's it. So then we can play that, and you can see how you can demonstrate. And while you're doing a demonstration on, oh, I stuttered there. Should I remove that, or you can demonstrate? And while you're doing a demonstration, you can demonstrate. I mean, probably doesn't matter too much, but I like to clean it up as best I can if it still sounds all right. And you can see how you can demonstrate while you're doing a demonstration on a phone. For corner rounding really makes it easy. And then that's it. So then we can play that, and you can see how you can demonstrate while you're doing a demonstration on a phone, for example. You can either have yourself in the corner here, or maybe have some text appearing as the demonstration goes through. Okay? Now, let me show you another really cool thing about this. Okay, and then there was a whole bunch of nothing because I was trying to gather my thoughts. Incidentally, when I'm making a video like this, is it here? Oh. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. That's all I had for notes. Can you see that? That's what I had prepared and in front of me when I was making this video. So I just, every once in a while, you'll see my head look down, and I'll just remind myself where I'm at. So depending on how complicated the video gets will dictate how many notes I have to put down there. So that's what I'm looking at during all this. I'm looking down at my notes. Okay, it looked like I checked my watch too. Maybe something came through. So what was the last thing I said here? Now, let me show you another really cool thing about this. It's here. What do I say here? Now let me show you something really cool that you can do with this. Now let me show you something that's really cool that you can do with this. Let's go. So that's my good one right here. So we're going to delete all of that. And I want to delete back here as well. The demonstration goes through. Okay? Don't even need the okay. Demonstration goes through. Delete it right there. Shift and click and drag, close the gap. Demonstration goes through. Now let me show you something that's really cool that you can do with this. Let's go back to the laptop recording that we had here. Now let's put an animation down on our screen. So with the screen selected, let's go to animations, drag a custom animation down. Okay, like that. Let me just zoom in here so we can see what we're doing. Okay, and now what I want to do is put the playhead at the beginning of the animation. And at the beginning, I want this screen to start off full screen. Okay, so let's do that by clicking the corner pin button. And you can drag the corners back to the corners of the screen. And I don't have canvas snapping on, so let me put that back on. So there's actually two ways to do this. You can put the corners back manually like this,
Or an easier way to do it is if you come over here to the properties window, see all of these reset curved arrows beside all of the things. These are all the properties that you've made adjustments to. You haven't made the adjustments here in the properties window. You made them by dragging the corner pins, but you can reset everything just like this. Clicking all these back to the way they should be. And then the scale. Actually, the scale should be 50% because of the way I have my Camtasia set up. Because of the way I have my Camtasia set up. Because of the way I have my Camtasia set up. And then just like that. So now we've got it full screen. Okay, and then let's play this animation through. It's like that. You can animate it onto the screen, and you can have that animating onto the screen while yourself, perhaps, maybe you have a video of yourself in the corner. You can animate yourself down into the corner of this presentation window. And then I read my notes. So we'll just cut that here. I forget what's next. And one last thing I want to show you. Okay. Well, I haven't been very good at putting my markers in. I know this is probably going to be a natural place to put a chapter, so I'll just put another one here. I'll just call it marker because I don't know what chapter number this is going to be. This presentation window. And one last thing I want to show you. Let me just zoom this out, and the timeline out, and pick a new spot to work with. You can do this not just with videos, but you can use corner pinning with images as well as text. Okay, so if we go to annotations, and actually annotations as well, if you grab a shape, let's say you have a triangle, say, you can click on corner pinning and skew the triangle by dragging the corners. Okay, you can do that. You can also go and get some text, drag the text on. You can't see the text because it's white, so let's change that to blue. Let's go with a larger font. Okay, and bring the size up. I'm just going to Control S to save this. I usually do that a little more often, but I just took a look at the screen. This looks kind of weird. 2 copies of me with the exact same shirt. That'll prove that I did this recording this morning before I went live. Now we're just, for anybody just joining in, I'm demonstrating how I edit my YouTube videos. So what we're doing now is I'm going through Camtasia, editing a video that I recorded about an hour before I went live. So I recorded the audio, the screen, and the camera. And I've created, during this live stream, we've created a Camtasia project, and I'm editing it, getting it ready to upload to YouTube, because this will be the video that I upload, or that gets posted tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. or 9 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. my time. So that'll just bring you up to speed as to what you're witnessing. And once again, if we click away and then select it again, corner pinning is still selected. We can modify the corners. And if you want a little more freedom as to where you put the corners, make sure you have canvas snapping off. Okay, then you're not limited. It won't snap in place for you. Okay, so that's another way you can achieve a 3D effect. And then if you want to take it even to the next level, you can then go into visual effects and go down and look for the drop shadow. Bring the drop shadow on this. You can bring the drop shadow on the shape as well. And let's work with the text. And we don't need corner pinning on to do what I'm about to do. You can go down to drop shadow, and you can change the offset. You can change the blur, the opacity, okay, and then the angle at which the
we're coming up to the end.
Shadow is being shown. Okay, and you can do that with shapes, with text, and with images and videos. You can use corner pinning with all of those.
Okay, I'll just play this through so you see what's left.
That's it.
That's it, and the screen goes. Then it's just me, and I turn off the camera. Okay, so
you can use corner pinning with all of those.
Right there is where I highlight this S, delete the last section, and now that's it for the body. There is our, so where are we at? 9 minutes, 43 seconds. The outro is usually longer than 15 seconds, so this will be just over 10 minutes. Let's give us some more room here. So a little more, so I haven't modified the outro yet. This is the outro I'm now gonna have at the end.
If you want more tips like this, come join me on Tuesdays for my weekly live stream. I live stream every Tuesday here on YouTube, sharing my screen and doing how-to tutorials. I show you how I make my videos and I answer any questions you have live. So if you're looking to level up your videos, join me on Tuesdays. I'm Rob and I'll see you in the next video or in a live stream. I'll see you soon.
Okay, so one thing I know I do, go to favorites, I always put a fade at the very end of that last one.
See you soon.
Okay, now the way I usually do this, so here is the outro. Background music first.
Do you want more tips like this? Let me know in the comments below. Or come join me on Tuesdays in my live stream. I live stream every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern here on YouTube, sharing my screen and doing...
Okay, so you get the idea. Here's all the audio. The video is here and here, and these three up here. The reason they're on top there is because I've got the video on top of all of the animating, the animated transition that I created. Okay, that's down here. So I can click this plus button. You can kind of see what it is, right? The shape, a logo, sorry, a dark background, video background, a logo, and then the white shape animating and a blue shape animating. Okay, so that's what's in there. I'll just close that group. We don't have to mess with that now because I've saved it that way as a template. I am going to add 2 more tracks. So I'm going to right click here, add insert track below, insert track below. 2 more tracks, and then I take my new outro and I put it up here, and it snaps there. And I usually give myself a little more space to work with so I can see all this.
If you want more tips like this, come join me on Tuesdays for my weekly live stream. Come join me on stream.
Okay, so I get to the I live stream bit much sooner in this case, so that's right here, and I usually have to I can get myself pretty confused if I don't I'm not going to probably talk all the way through this, or I'm going to mess up, so bear with me. You can just kind of watch what I do. This little animation, I copy that. That's the animation. That's the animation of me kind of sliding like that. So I'll copy that. And I'll paste it in here. Okay, and I will copy the properties there, and I'll paste them in those 2. Okay, so I should be able to delete these 3 now. All right, what next? I can delete all of this old audio. And I mean, I probably don't need to redo the outro every single time, but I do. Want to be wearing the same thing and all that sort of thing. So now this I want to drag the music with this, because see, I have the music ramping back up in volume after I finish speaking. So that's why I want to drag this back to match up there, just like that. Okay, now I can delete this. Okay, I've got all the old ones deleted, but now I have to move those up. So a couple things, I'll double click there. I'm going to grab everything up here. And the reason I double clicked here is I wanted the playhead to be exactly there at the end. So when I bring this down, it'll snap to the playhead. Now I'm going to double click here, and I'm going to grab that one, and that one, and put them above that stuff, and see if that looks, everything matches up.
If you want more tips,
okay, so I need to move this.
If you want more tips like this, come join me on Tuesdays for my weekly live stream. I live stream every Tuesday here on YouTube, sharing my screen and doing how-to tutorials. I show you how I make my videos, and I answer any questions you have live. So if you're looking to level up your videos, join me on Tuesdays. I'm Rob.
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a bit of a blip there. Yeah, so this has to go back to there, that to there, I think.
Tuesdays. I'm Rob.
Just kind of have to fiddle around a little bit with it. Okay, I think that's it. And the music ends when that ends. Yeah.
See you soon.
Okay, that looks good. And I always have the music start to come in like this before the actual outro starts.
If you want more tips like
okay, so that's good. So now I'm going to double click here. That's where I want the playhead right now. Let's make this a little smaller. Now I'm going to shift and just start dragging. Oh no, I can't do that. I have to double click here, shift, and start moving. We're going to join this up. I've got that big space there. Why? That's because of the 2 tracks I added. Okay, let's fix that. Best way to do that is to highlight these 3. What? Double click here, put the playhead there, highlight all these, drag them up too. Okay, so now if I right click and remove all empty tracks, that tightens it up. Much better. Highlight all this, and I'm going to click here and drag this until that snaps into place. Now let's see how the ending goes. Just make it a little bit bigger so you can see.
is being shown. Okay, and you can do that with shapes, with text, and with images and videos. You can use corner pinning with all of those. If you want more tips like this, come join me on Tuesdays for my weekly